everyone. Our lesson today in science about accompanied forces to motion. Any object in a state of motion is accompanied by forces. These forces are force of inertia and friction force. In the beginning, we will study force of inertia. What is meant by force of inertia? It is the resistance of object to change its phase or state from rest to motion or vice versa. Again, it is the resistance of object to change its state from rest to motion or vice versa. Okay, now we take example for inertia. When a bus driver stops suddenly, what happened? Passengers are rushed forward. Why? Because the force of inertia tries to keep their state of motion. Another example. When a driver moves suddenly, what happened? Passengers are rushed backward. Because the force of inertia tries to keep their state of rest. So, inertia keeps the state of object from rest or its motion. Again, what's meant by inertia? Resistance of object to change its state from rest to motion or vice versa, as you see in the two examples. Another example. A football player is rushed forward and falls if he is tripped during running. Give reason. Because the force of inertia tries to keep his state of motion. Another one. Coin, as you see, falls down in the cup when you move paper. Give reason. Due to force of inertia, that coin resists the change its state from rest to motion. Now we will talk about technological application on force of inertia. Safety belts of car and planes. Safety belts are used to stop force of inertia, to protect passengers from being injured by any sudden change in motion. Another force accompanied to motion is friction force. What is meant by friction force? Resistance force originates between moving object and the medium touching it. Again, resistance force originates between the moving object and the medium touching it. Like when you rub your hand together, friction force. When the car moves on the road, there is a friction force between tires and road. When the fish swim in water, there is friction force between fish and water. So, friction force always against motion. If the movement in this direction, friction force in opposite direction. If the movement is in upward, the friction force is downward. But friction force has benefits. What are the benefits of friction force? Friction force between shoes and ground prevent us from slipping during walking. Friction between car brakes used to stop the car. Burning of match need a friction. What are the harms? What are the harms of friction? Loss of mechanical energy as it changes into heat energy. So, this heat energy causes expansion these parts, and expansion causes erosion and damage of machine. So, friction force causes damage of machine. We can solve this problem. How to limit the friction force? By lubricating and oiling mechanical machines. Lubricating and oiling mechanical machines give reason to reduce friction force. There is force inside living organisms, but the living organisms or living system classified or divided into simple systems and complex system. Simple system may be called unicellular living organisms, such amoeba, paramecium, eugolina. Complex system or multicellular living organism, such human, animal, and plants. Biological force. Biological mean living organism. So when we talk about force, biological force, we talk about the force that enable living organism doing its biological operation. Importance of forces inside living system. Example: contraction and relaxation of heart muscles. Yes, help heart to pump blood all over the body. Contraction and relaxation the body muscle, not heart muscle, but body muscle. Contraction and relaxation of body muscle help the body organ movement. Another example: rising of water and salt from soil to stem and leaves against Earth's gravity. Number 4. Transportation of liquid through pores and walls of cells from lower concentration to higher one. Help water and salt to transfer to stem. Thank you and good luck.